Good evening, everybody. It is David Schlotthauer again. I don't do this very often. I do not do this very often at all. This is the third content piece of the day. Two fire weather streams and one just typical weather video that I released earlier tonight on the winter storm for the middle of this week, coming in on Thursday and lasting through the weekend. But this is terrifying. This is beyond my words, and this is really bad. We have 5 wildfires burning. It looks like one maybe, I don't know if it's gotten extinguished, may not be burning as hot, but we did have at least 5 wildfires based on fire duty. Let me make sure I have that here. Let's see. Yeah, I need to go to fire watch duty with all these fires that are burning right now. This is pretty significant right now. We have the Palisades fire. We know about that one. There's a lot of evacuations with this one, and wait until I show you the current wind gusts that are on top of these ridges in a little bit. So the Palisades fire has burned almost 3,000 acres. This is as of 16 minutes ago. It's probably a lot larger than that because we don't have aircraft out there to map the fire perimeter. The winds are so strong, folks, that planes cannot even fly out in this at all to map this. I believe there's even flight delays or a ground stop at Los Angeles or even in Ontario. Maybe not at Los Angeles, but I believe there's a ground stop in Ontario airport. And that's because of blowing dust and winds gusting almost 60 miles an hour there. That is pretty extreme. So the Palisades fire, 3,000 acres, and there's no containment on these fires that I'm about to show you. 0% containment on all of the fires burning in LA County tonight. There's the Tamarack fire. This was updated 26 minutes ago. This was probably one of the hot spots that we briefly saw on the satellite imagery, giving out some heat. This has burned a half an acre, but it wouldn't be surprising if that grew a few more acres. The Hearst fire now burning 100 acres, and this was updated 12 minutes ago. So, yeah, this is burning very rapidly. In fact, this fire has jumped the freeway per Los Angeles National Forest. The fire is running in the footprint of the Saddle Ridge fire per radio traffic. So this is burning very quickly as we have the Santa Ana wind that is extreme at the moment. We have another fire, the Eaton fire and the Burt fire that are both burning. I mean, this is incredible. This fire in particular has a lot of evacuation. Let's see what this is. So there are evacuation orders in red. That means you need to leave. You need to leave. This is the time you need to leave your house because there are evacuation orders out right now. The evacuation warnings mean you need to get prepared to leave very soon, okay? This is pretty substantial when you think about like areas even down here because of how strong these winds are. This fire could grow in all directions because of how intense these Santa Ana winds are. That's the Eaton fire, has burned 400 acres. And then we have the Burt fire, which is down here. There is no evacuation orders on that. I don't think there are. No, there are not. This has burned 3 acres. And as of right now, there is no containment on this fire at all as far as it goes. Justin Roberts reports at 35 minutes ago. Command releasing some units, additional units remaining on scene for about 30 minutes per radio traffic. So they probably got the fire out there. which fortunately this did not grow at all. And usually if these burn in the valley here where we have a lot of buildings, these fires do grow a little slower. But up here where we have a lot of the vegetation, these fires are on the loose. They grow. They're moving. They're moving fast. And that is why we are live streaming on this for at least an hour. And, you know, I did not want to live stream on this, but when I was listening to the radio that I'm about to show you, LA, Los Angeles fire, and looking at some social media, this really kind of took it over the top, and that's why we are now having to do an emergency live stream on this for at least another hour because of how many fires are burning, and there could be additional fire starts tonight. I am not surprised because of how strong these winds have gotten at the moment. So the Eaton fire again has burned 400 acres. There are evacuation orders out. If you are in a evacuation order, you need to leave now. You do not stay behind. Now is the time to get all your belongings, your documents that are very important to you, any picture frames or any pictures that are very important, any important clothing or anything. This is the time you need to pack that all up and evacuate immediately. All right, if you are in an evacuation order, this is the time to leave. Okay. In the yellow areas, again, evacuation warning has been issued, which means you need to get prepared to evacuate very soon if necessary. Those can change very quickly. But the Palisades fire, this is very densely populated area. I mean, we're talking San Q1, 1389, all the way up here in the northeastern portion of the fire evacuation zone, covering LOS, Kilo 0588. Again, that's that area right along the 405 freeway where we have that evacuation warning out. Again, evacuation warning means you need to get out now. Do not wait. All right. And then you have an evacuation order in yellow that is issued for Mountain Unicum 028 all the way up north to Kilo Alpha Lima Kilo 406 that are now under evacuation warnings, okay, which could turn into evacuation orders should this fire spread more east as we get more of an easterly component to the offshore wind event that is reaching extreme levels at the moment. In fact, this is such a big wind event right now that if we take a look, let's see here. Let me actually show you some fires first on the cameras. This is one of them. Actually, this is more of raw look at here. Look at this. This is burning very aggressively. Look how bright this is. In fact, these are night vision cameras, and I've seen these cameras before. They turn it on into night vision when it gets dark enough, but it is so bright here that the cameras are actually in, they're not in night vision, and you can really see the cumulus, these huge smokestacks coming off. And when we play this over the last hour, you could really see how fast this fire, look how fast it's burning, really burning, and it's jumping across the canyon here. Looks like a little canyon. And at times, this fire is accelerating at 40 miles an hour, which is so fast. You can't outrun this. You have to literally, that's why they're issuing evacuation orders way downstream of where this fire is burning. That's a Palisades fire burning very aggressively tonight. Let's see here. Let's go to some of our weather stations, because I find this very important, because we have had very intense wind gusts, and I know you all want to see watch the fire in real time, but we also need to look at these winds too, because the winds are driving the flames tonight. This is the weather station that I've been monitoring right here. So if we zoom out, So here is Los Angeles, here is Ontario, okay, and here is the San Bernardino Valley, and here's a San Fernandino Valley up over here. So if we zoom in, this is Chaffee High School. I don't know this whole area very well, but I have been through here many times when I was younger. And I'll tell you, these mountains are really tall, and they really funnel the winds down. The wind compresses, right, and it accelerates. This station in particular has my interest, all right? And this is the SCE Jaybird Road weather station. This is ran through the National Weather Service, and look at these wind gusts that the station has reported. Since about, I would say, 7 o'clock, we've been in the range of 70 to almost 75 miles an hour, and most recently here, 81 mile an hour wind gust, and literally about, I would say about almost 20 or 30 minutes ago, a sustained wind of almost 51 miles an hour and a wind gust of 80 miles an hour. That is pretty insane. And the peak of this wind event is moving through right now, and it's going to continue through the early morning hours. In fact, the strongest winds, because of diurnal peak here, may not arrive until about 1 to 4 in the morning. So I would not be surprised if some of these areas right here, right on the foot side of the leeward side of these San Gabriel Mountains and some of the other mountains here, could get gusts up to about 90 plus miles an hour. That is considerable. That is extremely dangerous. In fact, so dangerous, I don't know if Ontario is holding flights because of the winds. Right now they're gusting to 31, but there's blowing dust here. This is not good. There's blowing dust here at the airport. But if we go and look and move the map to the northwest here, over, say, this is where I believe, let's go and re-look at that. Okay, so this is where, okay, so there is the 210 freeway. So if we go and look at the station there. So this is right about where the fire is burning, and these are some pretty intense wind gusts. We got a 51, 52 here. Let's see if we can find any high numbers. No, we're not seeing very high numbers there. Now these winds, I mean, this goes to show you. Here's a station with a gust up to 17 miles an hour from the south-southwest. This is the Hanger Flats Road. This station in particular, yeah, had some pretty significant winds earlier at 9:10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Look how light these winds could get. I mean, you can get down to 15 mile an hour wind gusts, soon to become maybe another round of 60 to 80 mile an hour wind gusts. Part of that mountain wave event that we're seeing. Here's another station. This is reporting, let's see, this is reporting 74 miles an hour, and look at the wind or sustained wind, 19 miles an hour. This is within the last few minutes. A couple of hours ago, we had a sustained wind here of 44 miles an hour and a wind gust up to 82. So, yeah, this is some significant wind, and then it gets even more concerning than that. Here's another station here. This is Falls Canyon. This is reporting sustained winds of 81 miles an hour and a sustained wind, let's see here, sustained wind of 61 miles an hour. Now, if that's not enough, this station recently reported, all right, at 10:20 p.m., and I want to make it clear here, at 10:20 p.m., this station reported almost a 70 mile an hour wind gust. Not 70 mile an hour wind gust. I wish it was a 70 mile an hour wind gust and not 99. This is a 70 mile an hour, almost within a mile away from a 70 mile an hour sustained wind. Okay, sustained wind of 70 miles an hour. That's 4 miles an hour away from Category 1 hurricane intensity. Wind gusts here up to almost just shy right underneath 100 miles an hour. 100. Okay, so that is, when you see numbers like this, you know, a severe thunderstorm warning is issued when you have gusts over 58. But when you get gusts over 60, you start getting a lot of wind damage. And when you get gusts over 80 miles an hour, you get more considerable wind damage. But when you get gusts over 100 miles an hour, that's pretty much complete destruction. Gas station roofs come off, and some of these roofs could go flying as well. We could see debris being lofted into the air briefly with some of these winds because they are so strong at times, and when they come in big gusts, that could be pretty substantial. So most recently, this picked up a 99 mile an hour wind gust, and I would not be surprised if this station gets gusts even higher than 81 miles an hour. We will have to really watch that because that's almost 100 miles an hour as of that station report. Let's go further to the north here. Let's see if we have any stations that we need to be very aware of. Okay, this one here, this is Camp 9, reporting a 75 mile an hour wind gust as we speak. So this is producing pretty strong winds. Let's see if we have another. Oh yeah, look at this one right here. This is at the surface, by the way. That is pretty much at the surface. That is a 50 mile an hour sustained wind with a gust up to 70 miles an hour, pretty much at the valley floor here of Simi Valley. Okay, more wind reports right by where this fire is burning, the Palisades fire. Let's see here. Yeah, this is an 84 mile an hour wind gust, so this is pretty strong, and let's see how that station has reported their winds so far. The strongest wind of the night coming in at 52 sustained with a gust up to 84 miles an hour. Malibu Hills reporting that wind right now. This is Saddle Peak reporting a 72 mile an hour wind gust, and that recently we have had a gust up to 84 so far with this wind event that has unfolded. In fact, yeah, the maximum wind so far has been about 80 plus miles an hour. So, yeah, we're going to get winds. Unfortunately, the winds will get stronger tonight. I don't think these are the peak of the winds yet, because what I'm about to show you is some modeling that we will look at that. Because these winds, I'm afraid, will probably end up getting a lot stronger. Actually, a little bit stronger, not a lot. I think we're kind of at that almost maximum point of these winds. But I'm telling you, this is pretty substantial. All right. So yeah, these winds are pretty substantial. I have not seen wind gusts this strong, especially in the hills like this, in quite some time, especially over here where we have a pretty intense swath of 60, 80 mile an hour wind gusts at the moment. See if we have any more in the Chino Hills. Let's see here. 70 mile an hour wind gusts. So we're not getting there yet, with 80 mile an hour wind gusts being reported there. Yeah, here's a 65 at the moment. So the strongest winds have been really focused over the San Bernardino Mountains and San Gabriel Mountains over the last few hours. And this is pretty much where they're going to be focusing over the next several hours. And there is a 77 mile an hour wind gust at Miller Ranch, 837 feet off the ground, reporting that wind right now. So that is quite low. That is not far. I mean, that's not 1,000 feet above the surface. So you can see here, yeah, as of 11:09 p.m., this just came in for Miller Ranch, a gust up to 77 mile an hour wind right now. This has been the strongest wind since this wind event so far. Yeah, it's pretty strong. And look at how these winds could change in just a short amount of time. So yeah, the winds are a thing with this offshore wind event. And these are non-official. Well, this is weather station based from a public standpoint on Wonder Map. By the way, Ethan, welcome. How are you doing? Hello?
Hey, can you hear me?
I could hear you.
Okay.
Ethan, we have a dire, urgent situation taking place right now. Just an overview. We are getting wind gusts over 80. We have one wind report near the, let's see, near the El Tanda area where that Eaton fire is burning. Wind gusts there almost close to 100 miles an hour. 100-mile-an-hour wind gusts already.
Yes, it is insane and a very unfortunate and very terrifying situation here with these fires burning in Southern California, affecting these populated areas. It is nightmarish to see.
Yeah. So Ethan will be here for a while with us as we do cover this event. Again, this is an urgent matter that is taking place. We are actually going to turn over to Los Angeles County Fire for a little bit, Ethan. We're going to listen in and let's see what they're actually saying.
Just below, I think, Murphy's Ranch.
Yes.
So it's starting to make its way towards the east.
Oh, okay. We got breaking news. We just got breaking news. Breaking news. Ethan just sent me something. Okay. Let me actually put this onto a different website over here because I could actually repost it. Yeah, so this just came in not long ago, and I know this is not related to the Santa Ana wind, but it's a good idea that we look at this. While Santa Ana wind event wreaks havoc, okay, and then we'll turn into our live scanner. While a Santa Ana wind event wreaks havoc over Southern California, I mean, Ethan, take a look at this. Sustained winds of 150 miles an hour. Okay, 150 miles an hour and gusts to a whopping 206 miles an hour atop an observation station a bit south of Tahoe in the Sierra Nevada mountains in the National Forest. It should be noted that the station is at 9186 feet in elevation, but still quite remarkable. And you can see it right here. This is as of 8:45. Oh, well, this came in a little bit ago. Let me actually go and look at that station to see if we even got any wind gusts any higher than that. Oh, man. Oh, gosh. Yeah, this is pretty serious. But yeah, before we look at that, 206-mile-an-hour wind gust, Ethan. Holy cow.
Yes, I saw that, and it was remarkable. It just kind of goes to show some of the energy that we're working with here. And again, that is a very high elevation and not necessarily characteristic of this entire event. But just to show again that energy that we're dealing with here, that the winds are literally EF5 tornado strength at that level, is just remarkable. And it shows that we have a very active situation going on.
And just to put this into perspective, Ethan, even the sustained winds are just underneath Category 5 hurricane intensity as well.
Absolutely. Incredibly strong winds. And the downsloping going into these dry areas is what is really helping to drive these fires.
And so you can kind of get an idea that, and this is recently, so we are still seeing damaging Sierra winds right now, and you can kind of get an idea this downsloping flow. I'm still speechless on why there was Thule fog this morning in the southern end of the Central Valley, but that's long behold gone as this offshore wind develops. Also, take note, Ethan, look at the gravity waves setting up over our area. We have gravity lenticular clouds setting up over our area because of that offshore wind that is cutting across our region. And today was pretty windy. Not as windy as I thought it would be. But yeah, some of these higher elevations, like Mount St. Helena. Now, this is again kind of away from that Santa Ana wind, but look at even Mount St. Helena, Ethan, at 4,300 feet is getting reports of gusts up to almost 70 miles an hour. Healdsburg Hill to the north reporting gusts of almost 70 miles an hour tonight. So yes, there is some pretty hefty winds even away from Southern California. Look at this. We've got 30s and 40s. Let's see what we have also. I mean, even at Oakland Airport, we're getting gusts over 30 miles an hour there. And yeah, this is Blackhawk Diablo PG&E weather station at 1,900 feet, reporting a gust of almost 70 miles an hour. So there is even some pretty strong winds, even in these isolated communities here, even in Northern California. So this is a widespread offshore wind event, just not as extreme in Northern California as it is in Southern California. It goes to show you the massive amount of energy that the system is exerting on the atmosphere, and I am going to really watch that station. I every 15 minutes it updates, so we should get a new update here to see. Actually, maybe it did update already. Let's see. No, it didn't. Well, I am going to be watching that now that you sent that link. 206 mile an hour wind gust. That is a blaring Category 4, Category 5 hurricane and EF5 tornado like winds, which it is over 200 miles an hour, right, for EF5 tornado?
Yeah, that is correct.
6 miles over that. Wow, that is pretty substantial. All right, so now we're going to turn into the radio for a bit, and we're going to be looking at some live observations and live cameras.
At Juliet, V1. Ops from Branch 1, back to your earlier question. The reports I got back from Mandeville was that there was no fire activity over in that area at all. Branch 1 from Operations, copy that. No activity in the area of Mandeville. Alpha from Operations on command.
I'll keep this pretty low with audio, so that way we all can listen into it. All right, something that I really wanted to show you, Ethan, and to you viewers as well, to you that are watching this, I want to look at the 500 millibar layer because, Ethan, what you're witnessing over Southern California is 110 to 120 knot 500 millibar jet over spreading where these fires are burning at 18,000 feet. That strong wind max that is moving through the area.
Yes, it is. And being on the backside of that system, you've definitely, you're on what we usually call the dry side of the system because this is not conducive to moisture advection into an area, to lifting and, precipitation forming. This is that part of the storm where you've got skies that tend to clear out and you've got things warming up usually, and the air is sinking as it's going through the mountains. So it is really a conducive environment to fire weather, and that's why we've seen these extreme fire forecasts issued by the Storm Prediction Center.
That is a serious vort max moving over the area. Vorticity maximum. And wow, there's a lot of wind energy. That is a blowtorch. The blowtorch is on for Southern California. And we're going to watch that chairlift station quite closely. So here's a look at the live Palisades fire. That is the one. Yeah, Palisades fire, Ethan. Look at how intense this fire is burning. And Ethan, when I roll this through over the last 3 hours, watch how fast this thing burns. Just watch in the last 3 hours.
Okay.
You'll see it. I mean, this is really burning very quickly. Burning very fast. And now it is coming really close to that camera. It's hitting that camera very soon. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Geez, look at that tree.
Yes.
Dude, look at the tree. Look at that little tree right there. It's like blowing around like a little twig. Look at that little tree. Watch when it lights up by the fire. Look at how intense those winds are. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I can see that's the evidence right there. Even in these pictures, which are basically just a series of, still images going through, you can see the tree bending. That's an indicator of the wind we're dealing with, and that is again, um, really helping to spread the fires at high speeds.
This is burning very, 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 very aggressively. Oh my gosh. This is pretty bad. This is... And there have been burned victims too, Ethan. I don't know. You're just kind of getting into the thick of this with the whole situation, but yeah, we have some burned victims. Because I was listening to the scanner earlier before I went live. Yeah, and this is part of the Palisades fire, including firefighters that some of them are injured. So.
Yes, I heard something about that, and that's very horrifying to hear, and I really hope the best for everyone who's been impacted by this. If there's anyone in these areas that receive evacuation notices, we very, very strongly encourage you to heed those notices, because this is a dangerous situation that is evolving very quickly.
In fact, if this continues to escalate, I may have to postpone my winter video tomorrow. I may just have to live stream on this for at least 6 or 7 hours tomorrow after I get home from school. Because this is just absolutely insane. Absolutely insane and terrifying. Look at that tree, Ethan. Look how much it's bending. Look at that. Really bending. So.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
All right, we got a new wind report, a new automated station wind report, and you're not going to want to hear the results. So this is located at around 2,400 feet, this station, and it has recently reported as of about 10:25, so about 5 minutes or 10 minutes ago. Here are the numbers, Ethan. A sustained wind of almost 60 miles an hour. Again, a sustained wind of almost 60 miles an hour, very close to where this fire is burning, with wind gusts over 80 miles an hour.
Wow. That is powerful. Especially in this kind of environment, this really dry environment.
And to make matters worse, let's see what the dew point is. The dew point is 20 degrees. The relative humidity is 28%. But that's because you're at about 2,400 feet. But the relative humidity at the very surface, like right along the coast, because the air sinks adiabatically, humidity values are below 20%. And to make matters... Is it windy outside? Man, that was a loud rumble. I think it's windy here. Hold on.
You got some wind?
Yep, we're getting some wind here. Let's see. Oh, no. I don't think it was. Maybe the heater went on. Okay, no, it's not. Yeah, I don't want to be dealing with wind tonight with it being this dry. Okay, so, yeah, where this fire is burning, folks, this is a great reminder of mountain wave events where the wind descends and there's back curling that happens. You'd be very surprised to hear this, folks, including you, Ethan. So the station at the surface, this is Topagana Beach at 11:30 p.m. recently reported you're not getting a northeasterly wind or a northerly wind, Ethan, but you're getting a south-southwesterly wind gusting at 50 miles an hour and a wind speed sustained of almost 30. So we're getting a southerly wind off the ocean gusting at almost 50 miles an hour.
Wow. Yeah, so that's still strong there.
No, but the direction, it's back curling. The wind is curling back. So it comes from the northeast and it sinks and then it comes up. It comes out of the south. Check near me, Jack. Where are you at, Jack? I want to get to Topanga. Topanga. Okay, that's how you say it. Topanga station there reporting that wind gust of almost 50 miles an hour from the south, not from the northeast. So, Jack, where are you located?
Go for Zulu. Yeah, Zulu, I had sent you a text. I don't know if you got it or not, but we're getting reports that people tracked at 1261.
Oh, people trapped.
Told that is in closer to your division. Can you repeat that address again on Las Lomas? 1237.
Near Santa Clarita. Okay, you're near Santa Clarita.
Las Lomas.
Yeah, so right now you're getting gusts generally in the 50s, close to 60 miles an hour based on wind observations, current wind observations at the moment, per NWS website. I'm actually surprised the winds are not overly strong in Santa Clarita. They're in the 50s, close to 60, but wow. You get in the San Bernardino Valley, the leeward side of these mountains right here, you're getting gusts in excess of 80, 90, almost 100 miles an hour.
Yes, and we got a question, how long is the wind expected to last? In the wait a minute, I'm making some implications here. In the Los Angeles area, the high wind warning is in effect until tomorrow night, so we've got Wednesday, all day tomorrow, we've got some wind concerns. There's probably still going to be sticking around. But then by Thursday, things tend to settle down a little bit. Some of these other areas, it might take until Friday for the winds to, subside to levels that don't warrant any kind of warnings or advisories. So it depends on the area, but in some places like Los Angeles, we're going to be seeing the winds weakening tomorrow night. And in mountainous areas, that might take until Friday for things to really calm down.
That's a long time, Ethan. The rest of this work week. It's only Tuesday. Actually, no, wait. Yeah, Tuesday. So yeah, the Hearst fire. Jack lives by the Hearst fire. Again, evacuation orders are out for that area. If you are in an evacuation order right now, please. Oh wait. Wait. There's no evacuation order on that, is there? Maybe. Oh, that's a red flag warning. Sorry. So in the Hearst fire, or wait, is there? I can't even tell if there is a localized evacuation. Maybe there is, it looks like. It's not highlighted here. Interesting. But the Eaton fire, there are evacuation warnings and orders out. So if you are under an evacuation order, you need to evacuate. Please, 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 please. I'll say it as many times as I need to. Evacuate. If you are under an order, go and get out now. Don't wait. All right. So,
Yes, absolutely.
So let's see here. Oh yeah, so here's the wind model that I wanted to show you all on what these winds are going to be like overnight. So this is midnight, and again, actually, I'm going to turn that down a little bit. So, so basically, the winds are going to be peaking overnight. They're still increasing a little bit more. But the HRRR with with winds this strong, we clearly have in some of these mountainous areas, we have sustained winds of about 50 miles an hour. So a little stronger than what the HRRR model is showing. Right all in here, about 40 to 50 miles an hour. But as we go into the overnight hours, these winds could get even stronger. So at 2 in the morning, look at this. I mean, we have sustained winds of 50 to almost 60 miles an hour right along the 210 freeway. San Antonio Heights, right over here, Rancho Cucamonga. And then you got other areas right along here. They could have winds nearing 60 miles an hour. So the winds, unfortunately, are still increasing in some of these areas. And then across the higher terrain, we have winds reaching speeds of 50 miles an hour. Pretty strong, and this is not capturing it very well, because if we go and look at our current observations, and this is why I like surface obs over model data, clearly this is a 60 mile an hour wind. This is clearly a 48, almost a 52 there, over the Santa Monica Mountains. I thought they were the Hollywood Mountains. Sorry if I said that earlier in the last stream. But the models are not capturing this as far as the intensity. I mean, these are winds as of midnight that are expected to be 28 miles an hour. I don't think that's happening. They're going to be stronger than what this is showing. So let's go forward and see how this progresses. So we went and showed you 2 in the morning. Now here it is, 54 mile an hour sustained winds there. So that's pretty serious. 4 a.m. still blowing at 5 a.m. Pretty insane speeds here. And then they could pick up a little bit more in isolated areas. Look at Malibu, sustained wind of almost 50 miles an hour at 6 to 7 in the morning. And still, these winds do not look to lighten up at all. They could peak between 4 and 7 in the morning. I am not surprised if that actually happens. And some of these localized wind-prone areas could have locally maximum winds nearing 60 sustained. Look at this right here. Bruno peak. Oh, wait. Bruno peak. They're reaching speeds of 60 to 65 miles an hour. So these are some insane winds. And this could even get stronger. Look at this. Almost 50 miles an hour over Malibu, over Ventura area, as these offshore winds do continue to be a thing. And these don't look to settle down at all through 10 in the morning. It may not really be until we get past about 2 or 3 in the afternoon when these winds should gradually settle down and wind down, which is why the high wind warning is in effect. But even so, winds do settle down a little bit. Some of the windiest prone areas could still have sustained winds of almost 30 miles an hour. That would be enough to still bring down some trees and power lines. Now, looking at those wind gusts overnight tonight, again, please take these with a grain of salt because, again, based on our current weather station reports, I don't know how efficient those actually are, but I'm pretty sure they are pretty reliable, but showing gusts that are stronger than this in this 80 mile an hour range. And this continues to be a thing. 1 a.m. Let's zoom out here. Look at these wind gusts between 60 to 70 miles an hour in Southern California. And 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m. Man, Malibu, Ethan, could have gusts over 70 to 80 miles an hour in the morning. So winds could certainly be picking up there over the next 4 or 5 hours. And look at this. Still dangerous, destructive winds all the way through 9 and 10 in the morning. It really is going to be a thing until we get into the afternoon hours when these winds will gradually subside. But boy, through at least 10 in the morning, 11 in the morning, we could be looking at some of the strongest Santa Ana wind event that we have ever witnessed. And these winds could still be picking up tonight. In fact, locally, the San Gabriel Mountains could have wind gusts almost up to 100 miles an hour through 8 and 9 in the morning. And even perhaps through 10 in the morning, we could see those winds being a big, big concern. Man, Ethan, this is pretty serious.
Yes, it is. And I have some context for that that is really interesting and kind of historic. But before I get to that, we did have a question in here about the app that you're using for the wind right there.
All right.
What the name of the app is?
The app that I'm using is Vintusky. Vintusky. I will put it in the chat, actually. I don't usually use this very often, but I like that they actually have their wind streamers that are actually faster. But that's Vintusky right there. So if you want to check it out, it's free. It's a free application where you can see winds. It does not have the NAM at 3 kilometer model. So therefore, I have to go to windy.com to look at that. And let's see what that's showing on there. How about that? So let's go to the NAM. And yeah, Ethan, look at this. As of 12 a.m., even the NAM is not capturing this wind event very well. Look at it's showing wind gusts. Oh, wait, no, these are sustained. Never mind. I thought these were wind gusts at first. But yeah, even wind gusts, okay, locally in some of these areas are exceeding model expectations. So you can see 70, but we showed you we had gusts over 80 in some areas. And the thing here is that the winds get stronger overnight. Look at this, getting up to 80 miles an hour at 3 a.m. And perhaps, look at this, getting even stronger. Through 7 a.m., Ethan, some communities could be witnessing gusts between 80 to perhaps 100 miles an hour through 7 a.m.
Wow. That is serious.
Yeah, and here's a look at the HRRR. We looked at it already, but here's another look at it. Here's the peak winds pretty much. Again, 70 plus mile an hour winds are anticipated in these areas. 70 to 80, maybe peak winds in some areas could reach 100. And Ethan, explain to our viewers that the models are underdoing things a little bit, or is it underdoing things? Because the topography.
Yeah, there are some differences. These models resolve things on different scales, and that goes to the different kind of model that we're looking at. There's different ways of interpreting the data and different ways of displaying it. And really, when it comes to these topographical differences, you have to get some pretty high resolution to accurately depict that. Those high resolution models, on the other hand, are also susceptible to having little incorrect areas of values because they're trying to resolve things on too small of a scale or not, accurately accounting for things. But when David's talking about things like the NAM and stuff like that, it doesn't really it resolves things down to 12 kilometers, so that's not very fine compared to, let's say, like the HRRR getting down to 3 kilometers, for example. That resolves things on a much finer scale, and we can look at individual areas of wind gusts. So you really need something like that when you're looking for these pinpointed areas of how the wind is being affected by topography. Large models, they can take mountain ranges into account pretty well, but they're not going to capture they're not going to capture the I'm sorry, it's almost 3 a.m. I'm tripping on my words here. They're not going to accurately capture things on as fine of a scale in that detail. And when you've got these bigger resolution models like the NAM, it kind of tends to even things out over a grid, for example. But as you get finer and finer, you can actually pinpoint specific locations. It can resolve things in greater, more accurate detail, limited by the model's own limitations, as we've discussed before during past events. But in line with what David was saying, It's these small scale models can depict them better. Large scale models, like the GFS and the NAM and those other large models, they do not show these very well.
Good. Thank you for teaching our viewers about that. So, yeah, this is pretty serious right now, and we are going to keep an eye on things for a while here to see. Because, boy, there were quite a few fires that blew up there for a bit. And they're still growing out of control. And, Ethan, I wanted to show you something. And Fancy said, went crazy. Brendan from Discord. I want to show the viewers this too. If you look on the bottom right side of the screen over the desert here, over the Great Basin, I have this circled. It'll pop up on stream. I mean, there was a pretty decent dust storm over the Great Basin, and you can see how the dust increases throughout the day. Look at this. As I forward this, you can see the dust plumes going into the air, a few of them.
Oh yeah, I see that.
I have not seen that before with a windstorm like this. And you could even see it here too in Southern California. There's that fire, the Palisades fire. And that fire, geez, that fire is growing rapidly. That fire is growing. Looks like we may have another fire start. Another one, potentially. We'll see. Oh, yep. The main fire, Ethan. We just got a new fire that started in the main fire, it looks like, 9 minutes ago.
Oh man.
We have another fire. Main fire, we're going to keep an eye on this. As of right now, vegetation fire with extension into nearby properties involving several vehicles and a threat to at least one structure. Per incident, command fire is being pushed by intense offshore winds. So we have now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fires in progress. 6 fires in progress right now. So that is concerning. We're going to keep an eye on that fire for a while. 6 wildfires in progress. But the Palisades fire is the biggest one of them all right now. It has consumed more likely more than 2,900 acres at this point. And, oh shoot. Oh, Ethan, the fire's about to consume the camera.
Oh no.
It's gone. It's really getting close. Holy cow.
In regard to what you're saying, yes, we're almost to 3,000 acres with the Palisades fire. And we did have a question here, Linda Bergman, where are the people evacuating to? With regards to the Palisades fire, there are a couple evacuation shelters which have been established. One is at the Westwood Recreation Center. This is in Los Angeles, 1350 South Sepulveda Boulevard. And the other one appears to be, let me go here, El Camino Real Charter High School. That is in Woodland Hills, California, 5440 Valley Circle Boulevard. So those are 2 evacuation shelters which have been opened up for the Palisades fire, specifically.
Yeah, I'm watching this. Oh, look at the embers. Look at the embers, Ethan. Look at the camera, you guys. We have embers. We have embers. There's a bright ember right there. Here's a couple of embers. And here's a big amount of embers. Looks like a volcanic eruption, but it's a fire. So...
Yes, terrible to see. And see that, how bright that is. That is burning very hot, unfortunately. And really hot fires can produce their own kinds of currents and erratic behavior. So, I think we have seen that described in some of these alerts that we're seeing extreme fire behavior. That is something that's unfortunately going to be characteristic of this.
And we're going to be watching this for a while. This is a serious emergency in progress, as the title says, emergency live coverage. Once that fire from Firewatch gets confirmed, that that main fire, because it has like a little red flame on it, which means it's not a CAL FIRE incident yet. Once that gets confirmed, we will have to update that to number 6. We have 5 wildfires burning right now, with that 6th one that we are going to keep an eye on to see if that actually grows. That is a grass fire, so that is spreading very quickly. Vegetation is getting involved. And we know how fast those fires can grow when winds are this strong with vegetation. And they could spread very quickly. So we will keep you updated on that fire quite closely. I mean, we had one fire today that started. That's the Palisades fire, Ethan. And then in the last couple of hours, just one after another of fire starting. Just wow. I'm speechless. I'm really, really speechless.
Yes, I really couldn't grasp the magnitude of this situation until I started seeing the videos and the pictures coming out of these areas, because it's horrifying. But even with the broader context of this, the extreme fire forecast from the SPC, that's something that we don't see too often. And also, I'm sure that you've mentioned this before, David, um, but we actually do have what might be one of the, I'm not sure if this is the first, but maybe one of the first, particularly dangerous situation red flag warnings in effect.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah.
and it mentions this will likely be the most destructive windstorm seen since the 2011 windstorm that did extensive damage to Pasadena and nearby foothills of the San Gabriel Valley. Any communities along Highway 118 and 210 corridors will be at highest risk for comparable wind damage. So, anyone who remembers that windstorm back in 2011 and all that did, they are comparing it, the National Weather Service, to this event that we're seeing right now.
And I don't know if you read their kind of description, but they even said move to the lowest floor of a sturdy building and move away from windows. Like, that's like severe thunderstorm wording. Like,
yes, that's going to the magnitude of this. They're talking about winds that are 80 to 100 miles per hour in that red flag warning. So we talk about this during severe weather live streams, but at that magnitude, you are at a much higher risk of, windows breaking, structural damage, tree damage, and so they're advising people to take shelter as you would for a severe thunderstorm, basically.
yeah. And I have a graphic that I'm bringing up here on Google Earth on why these winds are so serious. And actually, I like my sweet spot over here. And we'll get to the live updates on evacuations and stuff. So, what we have going on is a mountain wave event where we have really, really strong, intense. I mean, I've took off the headphones, Ethan, so if you try talking, I may barely hear you, but I'll try my best. So what we have here is a mountain wave event, and these winds are going to be extremely strong when they come down off these mountains, okay? They're descending. The air warms up and it descends. We're also seeing a adiabatic wind where we have colder air on one side of the mountain, so it's kind of like water, and there's like a dam. The mountains are treated like a dam, and that cooler, denser, cold air advection could only go up and over these mountains and through these canyons. And what this actually does is exacerbate the wind magnitude more than what models realize. And not only that, on top of that, we have really strong upper level wind support, especially at 500 millibars. That's 18,000 feet. And based on the meso-analysis, winds up there are over 110, 120 knots. That's about 140, 150 miles an hour at 500 millibars. That's pretty extreme. So what you end up seeing here is very strong downsloping winds that come off the San Gabriel Mountains. This is an illustration, but not only that, especially right along this area, okay, this patch that I drew up right all in here. I hope I did really well at illustrating this. This is similar with what we're getting with our observations, where we are getting wind gusts on the order of 70, 80 miles an hour at the moment. Okay, 70 to 80 mile an hour wind gusts, perhaps even stronger than that in locally wind-prone areas like these canyons. But then what ends up happening is once you get to about this point or so I'm kind of circling this whole area, the winds actually go up back into the atmosphere. Okay, so they go back up like this. And this is what we call a hydraulic jump when you get a mountain wave pattern. So if you think about a mountain, let me do a good illustration. Actually, you know what? Let me do this. Let's go to mountain wave. Mountain wave. All right. And this really illustrates it really nicely right here. So let me bring this up. Let's see. They're right here. This is a good example. So why these winds are a big concern, actually, you know what? This is a PDF. That's why it's really, really blurry. Just give me a second. Just give me a split second. Right here.
Division Foxtrot from operations.
Let's see. Here we go. This is a little bit better. The quality's not as bad. So when you get winds that go up and over, they're not that strong, but when they descend like this, you're getting adiabatic effects, especially with this one, because there's a cold upper level low, you get colder air aloft, and that wants to descend. And so you're getting serious momentum transfer from like about 10,000, maybe 12,000 feet at some points, even 15,000 feet above the surface, and that gets transferred all the way down to the surface. So you could even imagine, like, right here, it could be very windy. But then right here, as what I talked about in this image, that's this area, you may not see much wind at all. Maybe 5, 10 mile an hour wind gusts. But actually more like 5 to 10 mile an hour winds with gusts maybe up to 30 miles an hour. That's not very destructive at all compared to the winds that are along these mountains. And so you get these hydraulic waves, this hydraulic wave pattern that sets up. And here's another way. There's a closer zoomed in view. And you can see when we go back and look at the imagery, look what we got. We get this cap cloud effect. We get these gravity waves that set up. And this is why these winds are so strong, because that means there's a lot of upper level wind support for this intense, extraordinary offshore wind event that none Southern Californians have seen in over 14 years. So that is why we are seeing winds of the magnitude of what we are seeing right now, because of how substantial, how extreme this wind event is. And we're going to keep you updated on the wind for the time being, because this is not going to let up much at all. Ethan, we are now up to...
And yes.
We are up to, we're getting gusts as of the midnight hour for Malibu Hills, gusting at now almost 90 miles an hour, just northwest of the fire, with a sustained wind of about 50 miles an hour.
Yeah, so that's still going. These winds are still, unfortunately, going very strong, and that's really helping to spread the fire still, even at this late hour.
So let's go and actually look at, by the way, if you all are new, and you are in the path of these fires, please don't forget to like the stream if you have not liked the stream already. We will be live on this for another maybe 15 or so minutes. I actually do have to head to bed here soon because I have school in the morning, but I will be back on tomorrow, most likely tomorrow. If this continues to escalate and our winds continue to be really bad, I'll have to monitor the situation. We may have to go live and postpone our winter video until this situation lessens. But I don't think it's going to lessen at all tomorrow because we're going to have winds that are pretty intense through about 4 or 5 p.m., as I showed you on the models. So we're going to keep an eye on that main fire. Wait, did the main fire go away on us? Uh-oh. What happened? What happened to our map? And oh my gosh, what just happened? Okay, I guess it went out. Let me see.
Page?
Yeah, so yeah, I am seeing on why it went out. I cannot get. Let me go back to watch duty. It just went out on me, so let me get back into it. There we go. It's working again. I do not know what happened there. So yeah, and it's not loading. I think there's so much people using the website right now that the servers are overloading. Just to go to show you how many people are looking at this web page. What I could do though is we can look at the very latest information on this fire. And yeah, this is 24 minutes ago. This is courtesy of KTLA. So this is in Los Angeles. Look how strong these winds are, Ethan. I'm going to play this for the viewers. Again, courtesy goes to KTLA.
We've been all through Pacific Palisades tonight, and we have seen homes burned. We've seen businesses burned, dry cleaners, gas stations, condominiums, apartment buildings. Just a few moments ago, we came from Huntington Palisades, that neighborhood, and there were so many homes destroyed along Sunset Boulevard. It just took my breath away as we drove through that area to see homes one by one just up in flames and completely brought to the ground by those flames. We've been all through Pacific Palisades tonight.
I mean, look how strong those winds are. It's just insane. And here's another, here's more information. Actually, not really new information. Oh yeah, look at this. This is from earlier. Look at this building, Ethan, on fire from earlier. I mean, look at this.
Oh, yes.
That whole building, pretty much gone. Pretty much gone.
Absolutely, and that is really, really sad to see, and unfortunately, I think we're going to see a lot more images like that.
This is unbelievable. Oh, and look at this.
We did have... Yes?
Okay, no, go ahead.
I was just going to say, we did have a question a little bit ago about power outages in California. Currently, Los Angeles is leading. Los Angeles County seeing 221,000 customers without power at this point. Latest update, Ventura County, Customers out 8,670, so we got several thousand there. Uh, San Bernardino County, 29,000 customers are without power. The biggest one is still going to be Los Angeles County. 6.6% of the county is without power based on the latest estimates.
And dude, the whole state of California put together is seeing a major considerable power outage event with 311,500 customers without power. That's about the size of Fremont, where I used to live in the Bay Area.
Yes, it's incredible and affecting a lot of people, unfortunately, in various ways, taking out the power or spreading the fire, spreading the smoke even. Uh, People who are downstream of this need to take the smoke inhalation into account as well. Please don't be out in that for extended times. Definitely not good for you.
Man, that fire, look how aggressive it's burning. Again, this is the Palisade fire that is burning quite hot. You can see the yellow, the orange, the red. Man, this is only going to escalate. Oh yeah, the heat off this fire is pretty insane.
It is. I mean, just for... I'm sorry.
Yeah, you can go ahead, actually.
I was just going to say, in reference to what you were showing earlier, David, those signatures that we were seeing on the satellite imagery with the fire location, that was a very dark signature, which indicates a lot of heat being put off by these fires.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Also, my aunt lives in Southern California. I can't really say where because, it's privacy reasons, but she lives in Southern California. But I'll tell you, she's not even near these wildfires at the moment. That's not to say things could change if any fires start upwind of her. But here's a look at the... and the thing went off. So, yeah, here's a look at the other fire, the Inrit fire, that is. And there is a lot of smoke coming off that. That's a very active fire, Ethan, too. Look at this.
Yes, it is. That certainly is.
But yeah, this Palisades fire is the one that's getting the attention. Oh, and we got the fire burning onto the camera. We have the fire burning onto the camera right now. The Palisades fire is consuming one camera as we speak. And look at the palm trees. We are getting hurricane force winds almost. This palm tree is really bending pretty fiercely. Pretty fiercely. Here's another live image. This was out. Oh no, this is as of 11:50. Yeah, look at all the sparks in the embers right here. Jeez. Oh my gosh. The whole area is just on fire.
We had a question here from Mary Beth Kroll asking, is it anywhere near Anaheim?
No, it's not near Anaheim at all. Anaheim is way down here. Anaheim is way down here. The fire is burning right about in here is where we're seeing the fire burn. Yeah, right about in here is where it's consuming a lot of people, a lot of homes. That's the Pacific Palisades area. And this is where the fire's burning. Anaheim's pretty safe. Pretty safe at the moment. But not this camera. Not this camera at all. You could even see smoldering. Like, look at flames on the ground.
Yes, absolutely.
So that's consuming one camera. It looks pretty apocalyptic, definitely. Yeah, look at how hot that's burning. Whew. Pretty hot. It's a summer day in that localized area, Ethan. It's a summer day.
Yeah, the conditions are just ridiculously favorable for fire weather here. We've talked about that. I'm sure you've talked about it extensively, and the fact that these red flag warnings are in place goes to show that. But when we're talking about wildfires, we're specifically looking for a couple things. How dry the environment is. Are there a lot of dry fuels? There been any rain recently? Southern California, it seems like there hasn't been. I'm not specifically sure of the drought status, though. You look at things like the temperature, how warm it's going to be. Warmer temperatures, you've got more evaporation taking place from the surface, so it dries things out more. And then, of course, you look for the winds, and especially winds that are dry in nature, like these downsloping winds. Um, you combine all that together, and it is unfortunately very conducive to fire spread. So it's spreading these fires that are ongoing, obviously, but as you pointed out, David, and something that everyone needs to be very aware of, is that new fires could start off in areas where nothing is happening right now, depending on, what circumstances occur in that particular location. So everyone just needs to be, monitoring the situation diligently for the ongoing fires, but if you're also in these red flag warning areas, obviously it's a situation that it's very fluid and very fast changing, so you need to monitor it as closely as you can and be prepared to take action if something should happen.
Oh, yeah. Man, that wind. Look at the gravity waves as well, the lenticular clouds on some of these mountains, Ethan. Pretty incredible. Pretty incredible.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Wow. By the way, the Chair 6 Ridge, Ethan, the one that you sent about the on Twitter to me, you kind of mentioned me. That had a 206 at 845. That has since lowered to a sustained wind of 107 with a gust up to 154. So the winds are gradually subsiding on that station.
That would be a good sign, but not necessarily reflective of the event as a whole, because again, that is a very high camera, or I'm sorry, a very high station observation, so that's not necessarily representing what we're seeing down toward the surface in southeast or southwestern parts of California.
Yeah. Let's listen in really quickly. See if we got any new updates on what's going on. And then I'll be headed off here in about 5 or so minutes. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask those. We will be taking questions. Also, if you're new to the stream, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share to get latest updates on this and the Midwest or the Deep South snowstorm that is still projected to be an issue for the Deep South locations. In fact, yeah, they extended the winter storm warning for that location. So be looking at that maybe tomorrow. It just depends on this situation in Southern California.
Hey, Branch 1 from Operations. Ops from Branch 1, go.
If it's about the
Hey,
winter...
Branch 1 from Operations, I've got Task Force 10. And our concern is going to be, would you like to leave Bill Canyon and can you use them? Yeah, I'm in such a bad location right now. You're very broken up. I'm kind of up in the understanding of where this fire front is. Hey, Branch 1 from Operations. I don't know if you can hear me, but I've been talking with, and once they complete that, those are on the top of West. Concern for tomorrow is going to be swaps in over there and then starts making runs. So I'd like, as an addition to 1054 and 1045, to kind of bolster up that presence there.
All right, so
Hey, Operations, Division Sierra, on a command. Division Sierra from Operations, go.
okay.
All right, just an update. Hey, the fires jumped Carbon Mesa. It's starting.
Hello?
Okay. All right. They're saying the fire has now jumped Carbon Mesa. Carbon Mesa already.
Hey, Division Sierra, you were kind of broken there, but from what I've got, the fires had jumped at Carbon Mesa.
Carbon
and then
Mesa.
Anything after that, I didn't catch. Yeah. Yeah. Fire Station 7, and I'm sort of the east.
So we...
Hey, Division Sierra, you were still broken, but I think I caught most of it. Fires jumped Carbon Mesa and is pushing east. Yeah, farm. It's making us. It's gonna be.
Okay. We will...
Division Sierra from Operations, copy.
All right, so what we just found out is that the fire has jumped Carbon Mesa. I don't know exactly where that is. Maybe some of you in the chat could tell me, but it's probably reflecting the Palisades fire, that the fire's growing pretty quickly. See if we can go to our watch duty, if this is working now. And it still is out. I do not know why it is not working. It is not doing like it's supposed to do. Yeah, for some reason it is not actively showing it, so I'll have... Oh, wait, maybe... hold on. Yeah, it's not... It is not working at all. But yeah, this is pretty serious right here. This is where it's burning really active right now. This is where the fire is. It is at least 3,000 acres. That's what we know as of right now. The fire, based on the burn data, the fire has made its way all the way down to the coast. So it's burning. The natural break has occurred here in southern, along the coast here, just northwest of Santa Monica. Now, will this get into the Los Angeles area, the metro area? So the metro area is pretty much right all in here. You got cities inside of Los Angeles. This is a whole metroplex area. So it's technically burning into Los Angeles right now, but only a little bit of Los Angeles, not like in the downtown main forefront area at the given time. But yes, we are seeing the fire burning in a little bit into the metroplex of LA. The population of LA is okay, and it finally came up again. It finally popped up. Our incidents finally work again. So the Eaton fire, the Burt fire, and then the Palisades fire. And then this main fire, yeah, it's not updating on us yet. See, there is a lot of... The main fire, 42 minutes ago, we have not had an update on that. So This is what we have. But yeah, the population of Los Angeles, let's see, LA population right now is at 3.8 million. 3.8 million people live in Los Angeles alone. So, yeah, that's a pretty big area. That's densely population. And so this fire is right here. And if this jumps eastward, that's what they were saying, that the fire has moved eastward a little bit. So it's getting closer to these other houses here in Rivera, Brentwood. And you probably are wondering, how's the fire moving east if the wind is blowing offshore like this? Well, again, localized lighter winds, backing of the winds, so you get this curling underneath. So if you think about it, when you get your winds, let me make a mountain here, okay? So I drew a mountain, like a hill or whatever you want to call it. So when your winds come up and over, they could actually back around. They could bend back like this. Okay, this is what we call back curling of the wind flow. And what that does is you could have actually, the fire could actually accelerate like this briefly in little bits at a time before we get a push of northeasterly flow that slows down the forward progress of that. So that's why this fire has been able to grow to the west and also to the east, and even slightly upwind as well, because of that flow that we're seeing. So
Yeah, it's a very good explanation of that.
The only time you wouldn't get a fire that burns pretty much, well, you could in theory if it's a brush fire, because when the point of where the fire starts, that's the narrowest area, then it will grow and grow outward and outward with time. But there's not going to be much of the fire that progresses northeast, because that's the wind blowing from the northeast. So it's not going to make much progress northeast, but it may jump eastward a little bit at times. Oh yeah, Linda, this is the very extreme offshore wind event right now. And these sustained winds forecasted for 1 a.m, please take these with a grain of salt. Okay, this is a forecast model, not actually what will happen, but what will likely happen. There's always a chance that this underdoes or overdoes it. But it is showing that the winds are kind of lighter in some areas, but then the winds will get stronger overnight. They're only going to get stronger. So just keep that in mind, okay?
And with regards to what was being mentioned earlier about this, going further into downtown Los Angeles, at this point, as you head, toward the western suburbs of that, as you head toward Santa Monica areas. Oh, I'm sorry, were you saying something?
Major embers are going into the air right now. Major ember activity. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, yeah, if you're familiar with the area around Santa Monica, the evacuation alerts right now are extended to the east of the Will Rogers State Beach, to the Riviera Country Club, and as far east as Montana Avenue. So that does not quite extend to areas like Lincoln Middle School and locations like that, but areas that are along and to the northwest of Montana Avenue. That's where some of these evacuation alerts are, even though that is not within the incident perimeter at this point. So that's currently the extent of the alerts that we have, where they're talking about the evacuations at this point. Not to say that they won't go further to the east if this does anything like David was talking about, those possibilities for fire propagation.
Okay, Edward saying major ember activity could mean the fire is going to spread. Yeah, it doesn't look like the ember activity is as bad as it was just like literally a minute ago, but wow. What I'm looking for here is I'm looking for like it looks all like snow. The snow is glowing, right? Like lots of embers just going all over the place. And there was a lot of that just a bit ago. Like right there. See all these bright little specks right in here. Bright little specks. That's a sign that the fire is burning very hot at that particular time. And it's throwing up all these embers. All these embers. It's like a volcano almost. It looks almost like that. So, yeah, I'm telling you right now. This is that there's more embers. Look at this. So, if this is a big deal. This is a big old fat deal right now. And I cannot even imagine, Ethan, imagining being having wind gusts up to 70 to 80 to 90 miles an hour, but there's no rain. It's just blue sky unless you're in a wildfire area where there's smoke.
Yeah, that's something that, I'm from Indiana. If anyone's not familiar with me here, I'm from Indiana, so to get wind speeds like that is uncommon to begin with, but to happen outside of a severe thunderstorm is practically unheard of. So I really can't imagine that, and having it in that kind of dry environment, I mean that's just scary.
It is very scary. And especially in here, man, like just based on the model date, it's pretty strong. You will probably not be sleeping much tonight, folks. You will not be sleeping much if you're down here if you're in a wind-prone area. Because the wind's not going to calm down at all tonight. Not going to get any better than this. Or only going to get worse, unfortunately. This station, I'm looking at this station. This is a Davis, I believe. Yes, it is. It's ran through Mateo Bridge, which is pretty good. Probably going to the National Weather Service station. So, yeah, there's that 98 mile an hour wind gust that the station reported earlier. Man. You know what the average wind of the entire day is in this area, Ethan? Imagining this. The average wind 40, almost 42 miles an hour, spread out throughout the entire day.
Wow. That is pretty incredible.
Yeah, it is. And I noticed this, Ethan. Pretty cool to see this, unfortunately, from an offshore wind. Look how warm the temperatures are in Southern California still. Still in the 60s. Really, really warm. Mild, I should say, not warm. But yeah, you get the idea. You get the idea.
Oh yeah, that plays a role in it too. And if we're seeing the downsloping winds, we can have the air actually warm from compression. Adiabatic warming is what we call it. Because as the air is sinking into higher pressure, it becomes more compacted in a way. You think of it like that, and that warms it up, so we can actually have it increase just from the fact that the wind is descending through those mountains.
You don't plan on sleeping? Yeah, I feel ya. I feel you. This would be one of those events, Ethan. I mean, if I saw this coming early enough and if I was able to get my schedule soon enough, I would have driven my butt down to Southern California and filmed this.
Yeah, well, if you were to do something like that, just and we would say to anyone in these areas, if there's evacuation alerts or there's law enforcement, emergency officials, please avoid those areas. Do not go into those regions because there's not only danger to you, but also danger to the first responders who are trying to deal with the situation. So, if you happen to know anyone who's thinking about going down there to do something like that, uh, advise them of the cautions and maybe tell them not to do that because this is a very, very dangerous situation.
Oh, yeah. Very dangerous. And man, look how impressive this upper level low is, too, Ethan. Like, man. Quite incredible to see that.
Yes, it is. And that's a big factor in what we're dealing with here. At the wind that is not only very strong aloft, but as it's going through those mountains and descending and creating what this is a Santa Ana event officially, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So you're getting strong winds aloft and translating strong winds at the surface as well.
And let me show you the pressure gradient, folks. Look how tight that gradient is. I mean, incredible. Do you see that, Ethan?
Hold on a second. Yes, I do.
Look how tight that is.
And when you see the isobars tight like that, got some strong winds. That's pressure gradient that we often talk about when we're, discussing weather systems on a large scale.
Exactly. So now, Ethan, even so this upper level low will be very energetic, and this is a question for you and for the viewers too, that even so this upper level low will remain quite energetic as it moves into Texas. Why will the pressure gradient begin to relax tomorrow afternoon into, say, Thursday? I'm interested on why that is. I know the answer, but I want to hear your opinion. Hello? Uh-oh. Hello? I think we lost Ethan. Well, that's fine. I am probably going to head off. It is getting kind of late here. I was glad I was able to do this. Thankfully, we have not had any new starts other than this main fire over here in Ventura County. Pretty much all these are burning in, or the rest of them are burning in Los Angeles County. And actually, there was a fire there. It looks like it got extinguished. Or maybe it's just not on the map. I don't know. Yeah, the Burt fire looks like that has been extinguished. Yup, looks like the fire has been extinguished. The Burt fire, so that's some good news there. That fire is out. So we have now only 4 wildfires burning in the state or in Southern California. All right, but I think that's going to do it. I don't think there's much new updates other than the fires that are going on right now. As always, folks, have a great night. Don't forget to subscribe to get latest updates on this and also on that winter storm for Thursday through Saturday for the Deep South and for the Eastern Seaboard. As always, have a great rest of your night, and I'll see you guys back here tomorrow. I'll see you guys back here later on today, since it is today for me, since it is Wednesday. Peace.